first topic is Willow. It cost Disney $100 million, and they shit canned it. $100 million for this, and in 6 months they binned it off. Forbes, I'm loving Forbes.
I don't believe this. I don't believe this at all. I think this is a lie. I think it cost them $200 million.
Yeah, it was closer to $200 million. It was about 185.
Just because we know that's how much they friggin' spend. Exactly what Culture was about to say. Yeah.
Well, but this is from Company's House in the UK, so I'm guessing you're looking at the US stuff as well. Then the addition,
probably,
yeah, because all we get is on that side of the window is $106 million in money spent in the UK. Then you have all the after stuff that is.
Yeah, this is coming. Is this coming from one of the tax filings?
Yeah.
Because I think that only covers whatever they spent over there. That doesn't cover whatever they spent here. That doesn't cover any CGI. That doesn't cover any of that business. Yeah.
Nope.
So I would say the loss of Willow is probably more along the 200 to 250 range. But I don't know how much they're going to get 25% of it back. Okay, so figure that in there. Yeah.
No, only 25% of the $100 million. Only 25%.
Okay, so just of the $100 million. Okay, well that's less. Yeah.
Just to explain to everyone, just for context, ladies and gents, we're obviously looking at Willow, Disney. What happens is, and what's been essentially media are auditing Disney and other studios currently, and they can do that in the UK because they can search on Company's House. Company's House is it's a UK registry of companies that have to file taxes in the UK publicly. Now, if you film in the UK and you're working in the UK as under film, and this is why a lot of companies come here, is they get 25% tax rebate, basically, or 25% of the total back. It's a reimbursement of the total money that they spent there. So it's a tax relief system. So what companies are doing, media outlets like Forbes are now they're trawling through Company's House and looking at these filings and then just putting Disney on blast as a result of it because it's heavily comical. But then what this doesn't show is also because it's only for the company that is formed and founded and worked within the UK. So it's only that amount that is spent and filed under UK tax that gets that 25% back. But there's obviously for Disney post-production work, and that's held at, elsewhere, Disney Plus stuff, the marketing side of things, etc. So this figure inflates massively. There you go. Context. Just thought I would chuck that out there. So basically what they've done is they've spent over $100 million on a show that 6 months later they cancelled. So how much is it that you think it is? Because I've not heard this figure.
I think based on everything that we've seen in the past, it's about $185 million.
Jeez.
Yeah, and again, that's combined UK production and US side. But they did obviously save $25 million over in your lovely country on your dime. Thanks for that.
It does say here actually. Yeah. No. So the UK government's regulation state that each TPC must be responsible for pre-production, principal photography, and post-production of the television program and for delivery of the completed program. Accordingly, there is no doubt that their financial statements show all of the costs of each series. It isn't even possible for studios to hide costs in other companies, as the law Disney are being sued at the moment by TSG. So I would imagine that they are.
No, I mean, and again, I mean, there are additional services that could be added to that. This is one of the things that I would call Forbes on the carpet for, because their reporting isn't reflecting some of the other expenses in the States.
Yeah, well, yeah, because they weren't with the other stuff either.
Yeah, I mean, because otherwise it would be considerably more, because they would have to include cost to deliver, which would break down what it costs for the backbone to deliver the product to everybody globally and all of that other stuff. And those numbers are never reflected in any of these statements. So again,
also it doesn't make any sense anyway, because they're like, well, it's a recently filed statement from for the 17 months to December 31st of 2021. So when was it filed? I mean, yeah.
See, this is the thing.
I don't think they can't have all of it in there. They can't.
No, they're going back in the past, and this is the other thing about Disney. Disney's been getting in a lot of trouble with your lovely government because they've been
getting into trouble with everyone at the moment.
Well, but they've been improperly filing with Companies House or missing deadlines to file in certain instances, including most recently the Acolyte, which was widely reported on that they were in a bit of issue with. So it again, we're seeing the budgets being massively increased after it's revealed in Company House that they spend far more than originally claimed. So this is an ongoing thing. This is not new.
Yeah, but I just think, I mean, look, even if you take it on face value and it's that $100 million, I mean, I know, Tom, you're going to love the rant about this, but even if you take it on face value, $100 million, to shit can it 6 months later, I mean, my God, that's bad, isn't it? And there must be, what they must have done, they must have waited 6 months. That must be, because when you get a tax rebate, to qualify for that, surely you have to keep the product around for a set period of time. So they must have just cut it off at that one, literally at the moment they were able to. They cut it off, which is the write-down period. And so then they've got a tax. This is what annoys me about it. They've got a tax rebate and a write-down, you know, tax write-off basically at the same time.
But see, where are they claiming? But ask yourself this: where are they claiming the write-down at?
How do you mean? Where? Like what?
What country are they getting the write-down in?
I don't know. America,
yes.
I imagine.
Yeah.
Ah, it's double tax.
Yeah.
No phase. that is exactly what TSG is suing them for. Every every accounting playbook, whatever, blah blah blah.
Yeah, God, it's bonkers, right? Because I mean, Disney's reporting information from their entire company, but they're taking their tax things here in the States to offset, issues. Yeah, we're in a weird place. We're in a very weird place, and Disney is doing all kinds of shenanigans. And you know what? They're being sued for it, and rightfully so.
TSG suing is hilarious. Yeah. And I said this in my video, is that TSG, every studio does this. Every studio does the accounting. Every studio does, but TSG is just cash short now, so they're pissed. So then they're like, right, no, we've got to sue you, because also the strikes are happening, so they're not making stuff and they're not getting money back. And Disney shortchanged them, so they're like, right, well, we'll just take you to court then, because it's an unwritten rule, obviously, amongst everyone that this goes on.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, so funny, so funny. And yeah, Disney. I got called a Disney hater for doing that video, and I'm like, it's a what? This is a factual. What do you mean Disney? They're being sued. It's not a big Disney hater. Like, it's just a fact. Oh, God. Anyway, Tom, we haven't really heard from you on this. Sorry, bud. Get your delirious state out of here.
Yeah, no, what are we even talking about again? I know, Willow. Like, nobody gives a fuck about Willow. Look, I'm one of probably closer you could find to an actual big Willow fan. I loved the original film. I haven't gone as far as to read the sequel novel that they put out there, but I know enough about it that I'm like, you had it. Much like Star Wars, there it was. And I watched like the first 20 minutes of the show, and I'm like, you went against it was almost like you went out of your way to make this difficult for yourself. Willow was set up for woke. Okay? The movie ends with the bad princess becoming good, marrying Mad Mardigan, and them adopting who is supposed to be the next sorceress as their daughter. This show starts out with them bad-mouthing Mad Mardigan, and we find out that Laura Dannon is now a servant. So they've taken their adoptive daughter after they had some legit kids and said, you know what, bitch, you can serve us some bread.
That is awful.
This whole thing was set up to where it was clearly you have everything you need right there. Like the sequel could have been the Star Wars of our era in a sense of Laura Dannon is this super cool, powerful whammon princess being trained by Willow as a sorceress. There's your movie. A new horrible power emerges, and she's got to face that power and save their little land. I don't remember what the hell the name of their land was. They called it in the movie. Not Middle Earth. Shire. Yeah, well, Willow. Yeah, the Willow Shire thingy. I don't know. Not Middle Earth. Okay. It wasn't that hard. And you give us a bunch of cameos from everybody we love from the original movie. That's all you need. it writes itself.
Yep.
It is so simple. And then I'm watching this shit, and it's like, okay, nobody's gonna enjoy it. I don't think, and that was the thing, is Willow didn't have enough fans to begin with to even have the Star Wars kids coming out, you know what I mean,
so
where
bizarre.
they can defend it, right?
What a weird choice of a show to do as well. Like it was a niche. It was a niche when it came out.
It didn't flop, but it didn't do the kind of numbers George was hoping. And well, the big thing I think where George fucked up is he made some shit toy deal with Ertl, and the toys were horrible compared to Star Wars, so it never caught on with kids.
Yeah.
And the movie was more of it was probably should have been rated PG-13 too. That was the other problem, is it was a bit more violent than Star Wars was. Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to say that's because of the sense of greed that that George had at that point, because he made that deal with Ertl rather than Kenner at the time. And imagine that if he'd made the deal with Kenner, they would probably still be in business today, and he would have got some good toys.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. More Kenner toys. I love a Kenner toy. Kenner aliens. I've got my homage to the Kenner aliens there.
Fancy. You're fancy.
Oh, fancy you are. Anyway, that's my God. I'm not fucking doing a Yoda impression. Right, anyway. So there you go. Disney. Absolute hilarity. What a pile of absolute nonsense. $100+ million on a show that they just can 6 months later. What a joke. What an absolute joke. And this is the thing, right? Like, you look at that, and this is what I find utterly hilarious about this entire situation, is you look at the amount of money Disney spent on Lucasfilm, $4 billion. Lucasfilm has systematically destroyed the value of every single brand IP underneath it. And thus, if you were to value Lucasfilm now based on its box office receipts, as in like actual profit and loss, I don't think it would be worth $4 billion now. I don't think it would be at all. Maybe, but not adjusted for inflation, so still not 4 billion. I don't know. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. But